Commissioner Mkhwanazi are floating the idea of establishing a reserve force for the EMPD, which would then involve private individuals who are not EMPD employees being engaged by the EMPD in some sort of capacity, just like police reservists engage with the SAPS, although they are not SAPS members. And we had planned to, there were a couple of presentations that were put together by Mr. Van Wyk and that appear in YouTube clips that are linked in these chats. Up until about 4 or 5 days ago, the links still worked, but they've been taken down now. And I assume Mr. Van Wyk has access to the original clips that were put onto YouTube, and we can get them in due course, I have no doubt. But until I was preparing yesterday, I didn't realize that the links no longer worked. If you go to YouTube, you say this, you just get a page that says this video is no longer available. But what appears from those videos is a very developed proposal for the establishment of a EMPD reserve force, like the reserves that SAPS has. And the first sign that we have of that as an idea growing out of the special force idea appears at that message on the 2nd of December 2021 at the footer page 597 spilling over onto 598, where Commissioner Mkhwanazi says, "Good morning, Mike. We're starting with the project of reserve formation." And Mr. Van Wyk responds, "Please contact me so I know where we stand, and hopefully I'll be in charge of the reserves, LOL." Two days later, Mr. Van Wyk sends that mock-up on page 600, sends that mock-up of the specialized services JV between Anubis and EMPD through to Commissioner Mkhwanazi again. And in response to that, Commissioner Mkhwanazi sends him a message saying, "Good morning, Mike. Kindly prepare Mkhwabe. Kindly prepare. Mkhwabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've already given him a clue. We'll be meeting with our fleet guy this morning so we get directions since the cars have increased and finalize." So what this is straddling is...
I noticed that these are not being flighted.
Up at the top is the mock-up of the business card, and then the message from Commissioner Mkhwanazi. "Good morning, Mike. Kindly prepare. Mkhwabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've already given him a clue, and we'll be meeting with our fleet guy this morning so we get directions since the cars have increased and finalized." And there are several issues here. The one is that to arrange blue lights, the vehicles have to be put onto the EMPD fleet. So Commissioner Mkhwanazi seems to be saying, "I'm meeting our fleet guy this morning, so we get the directions since the cars have increased and finalized." In other words, there are now more cars that need to be put onto the fleet, and once we finalize that, it will be possible to get blue lights authorized. But separately from that, there is an issue of wanting official appointment cards as officers with some sort of authority, some sort of policing authority. And the message from Commissioner Mkhwanazi is to say, "Mkhwabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've given him a clue." Mr. Van Wyk responds to that message, "What must I tell him so that we are on the same page?" and we need it as soon as yesterday. I'll also call and remind him again after 8:30 on the issue of adding members to appointment cards. So what Commissioner Mkhwanazi is saying is these cards that will be issued to you, that will qualify you to have some, or that will represent you as having some policing authority, shouldn't specify the demarcation. In other words, they shouldn't say EMPD. They should just say something about your status. They need it as soon as yesterday, so it's urgent. And the issue of adding members to appointment cards, you need to speak to him about what happens when you need new people to get cards. And Mr. Van Wyk says, cool. Now we get to something which, in our view, looks like a bribe that is paid by Mr. Van Wyk to Commissioner Mkhwanazi in respect of these appointment cards and the authorization of blue lights. And if we go to the foot of page 600, top of 601, Mr. Van Wyk sends two messages on the 6th of December to Commissioner Mkhwanazi. The first says, the amount we spoke about is APPT, and then he says approved. So the amount we spoke about is approved. Now, in context, we believe that what's being talked about there is an amount of money. But we accept we may be wrong, and Mr. Van Wyk is always able to correct us if we are wrong. There is then an interlude in the chat when Commissioner Mkhwanazi sends a series of photographs about a competitor to Medicare 24 that appears to be transporting live ostriches in an ambulance. Sorry. Mr. Van Wyk, at the foot of 603, gives his response. And if we go down...
Sorry, Mr. Shaskalson. I waited a little bit and I thought there would be more clarity on what you believe is a bribe. Can you clarify?
No, we're going to get to that.
We're going to
we're certainly going to get to that. All right. So at the foot of 603, and it's quite a long sequence, which is why I had to start there, but it runs through all the way to 13 December. So 9 December at the foot of 603. There is a voice note sent by Mr. Van Wyk at 1300 hours.
And whilst you are looking, I think these are emus, not ostriches.
I don't claim any zoological expertise, Chair.
Yes. Do we know what's going on? Is there any answers maybe on that other story? Yes. Do we know what's going on? Is there any answers maybe on that other story?
So Mr. Van Wyk is asking Commissioner Mkhwanazi, are there any answers on that other story? His response is, on top of 604, good afternoon, my brother. I'm finishing this project this afternoon, but I pushed. We'll brief. It's been a busy week. Cool, thanks, says Mr. Van Wyk. Just have hectic pressure on me. And then things come to a head on the 13th of December. At page 604, well, even before we get to 604, to 13 December, if we look at 10 December 747, Mr. Mkhwanazi forwards to Commissioner Mkhwanazi forwards to Mr. Van Wyk a message saying, good morning, madam. Yes, but how far are we? I spoke to Mike. We are under pressure, all of us. So clearly there is something urgent awaiting that they both need to do or to get done. And then on the 13th of December, Mr. Van Wyk sends this voice message to Commissioner Mkhwanazi at 9:45.
Hey Julius, morning. I hope you had a good weekend. I'll see if I'm going to have a good week, all depending on what you're going to answer me. Where are we standing, my friend? I need to know, please, please, please. I mean, you want to do Christmas shopping. I need to make sure my boss is not in jail for blue lights. So can you please, please just see what we can do?
So Mr. Van Wyk is saying, I need to know where we stand. You need to do Christmas shopping. And we're going to suggest that what that is saying is you need to get money to do Christmas shopping. I need to know that my boss is not going to be arrested for blue lights. In other words, I need blue lights to be authorized. What then happens is at 20 minutes later, at message time 4 minutes past 10, he sends a follow-up voice note.
Julius, just please answer your video call. I want to show you something.
So he's asking Commissioner Mkhwanazi to pick up a video call because he wants to show something to Commissioner Mkhwanazi. The response of Commissioner Mkhwanazi is to send him a pin and to say on the following page at 6:05, hi Mike, I'm at the Arrive Alive podium, I will call you now. In other words, I can't take a video call now, I'm at the Arrive Alive podium. Mr. Van Wyk says, okay. And then on page 606, he says, can I send you something, but you need to delete after? And Commissioner Mkhwanazi says, sure. And then he sends him a video that we've seen already, which is the video at 10:51.
Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine. Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine's not working so lekker. I don't know if it's because it's hard. I'm not sure what it's doing. Anyway, I have another one here. Let's put this one here and try this one. Oh, it's also hard. I'm going to spend this fucking money now. Please tell me where we're going. Have a lucky day.
The response of Commissioner Mkhwanazi to that video is at the foot of 607, going over to 608, 13 December, he says, will push tomorrow well motivated. And how we understand those messages is he will push to get the blue lights sorted out tomorrow, and Mr. Van Wyk has motivated his case very well with the video.
It could be casino winnings, Mr. Chaskels. That money could be casino winnings.
It could
at how
indeed.
It's in rubber bands.
It could indeed. If it was casino winnings, we suggest it was being offered as something which Commissioner Mkhwanazi could use for his Christmas shopping. The process then continues, and at 6:09, on the 15th of December, Mr. Van Wyk sends a photograph of what is actually the CAT security address. He follows that up at 6:09:10 with a pin to that address, and he explains at the foot of 6:10 that it's floor 8 CAT security. And he says 7 a.m. Mr. Mkhwanazi confirms, Commissioner Mkhwanazi confirms, and we're talking at this stage about